It is a wrap for the football season after the Seattle Seahawks dominated the New England Patriots 29-13 in Super Bowl 60. So let's not waste any time. Let's break it all down. We're going to do it with a sports writer for Fox News. My guy Scott Thompson joins me now. Scott, long time no see. What's going on, man?
Doing fantastic, Dex. Thanks for having me on today.
No, glad to have you on. Let's talk about Super Bowl 60, which was interesting, I will say, in terms of a view, because, Scott, Super Bowl 60 finished with a combined 42 points in this game, but this was a game where we saw Seattle. They led 9-0 at halftime, so not a lot of offense. It took quite some time before we saw some real offense in this one. So what did you make of the enjoyability of Super Bowl 60, where Seattle's defense really stole the show here?
Yeah, if you were looking for a shootout in this game, you had time to go to the fridge, get an extra drink, or hit the snacks, get an extra pizza or some wings. But if you love defensive football like myself, this is what we were looking forward to coming into this game. A lot of people had the under, was around 46, 45 and a half. But this is what these teams were doing heading into this game. You look at the Seahawks, they were the top team in scoring defense this year. And then you look at the Patriots, they were doing the same leading up to this game. Look at what Christian Gonzalez did tonight. Look at what the rest of that defensive line for the Patriots was doing. But, Dex, you talked about it. The Seahawks defense was just too good. 4-man rushes, and they were getting home. Big Riley Mills up the middle, pushing a guy back and then sacking Drake Maye. 6 sacks, interceptions, and you know what happens with the turnover ratio. If you win that, you're likely to win the game, especially in this one.
Yeah, you know that for sure. So I want to make sure I heard you right. You said you enjoy defensive football. You enjoy this kind of football because one of my producers here said this is the worst Super Bowl he has ever seen in his life. Granted, he is a little younger than both you and I, but you feel like if you like defensive football, you should have enjoyed this one.
Hey, you like the New York Football Giants? Look at those last 2 Super Bowls. You don't win those without defense. So I think that's why I'm a little bit biased. But at the same time, we were on pace for the lowest scoring Super Bowl, a team to get shut out for the first time in Super Bowl history. But at the end, yes, there was some garbage time touchdowns that people want to talk about. I love defensive football at the end of the day because defense wins championships, as the old saying goes.
That is the old saying. And I was wondering if the Patriots were going to get shut out here. And speaking of the Patriots, they did not have a good showing here in this game with Drake Maye struggling in his first ever Super Bowl as New England QB threw for 2 picks in this one. What went wrong in your eyes for the Pats in this game, and do you believe that the future is still bright for New England and their young QB going forward?
I wouldn't say what went wrong for the Patriots. I think what went right for the Seahawks. You wanted Drake Maye to be uncomfortable, and they did that to a T. Look at all the errant throws. How many times did Chris Collinsworth tonight say, oh, he was wide open, he was right there? But Drake Maye was just pressured all night long. Those throws he was making all season long, he wasn't making them tonight, and the guys couldn't get into a rhythm. And normally we used to see him take off too, especially against those 4-man fronts, but they were doing a good job of containing him in that pocket, making him get rushed, and ultimately it led to those turnovers we were just talking about, Dex.
Yeah, those turnovers were very costly for the Pats. And you're right, Drake Maye never looked comfortable in this one. All right, so Super Bowl MVP, Scott, is always something that you're going to hear talked about every time after. And Kenneth Walker, he wins Super Bowl MVP. He finished with over 160 total yards in this game, $135 on the ground. I thought that we might see, for the first time ever, a kicker get MVP of the Super Bowl. Jason Myers, he recorded a Super Bowl record 5 field goals in this one. Did Jason Myers get snubbed here as Super Bowl MVP, or did Kenneth Walker III deserve the honor that he got?
I think we're looking at 1A, 1B here, Dex, and this is nothing against Jason Myers. Like you said, 5 field goals, makes Super Bowl history, also makes NFL history, most points in a single season for a kicker. But Kenneth Walker truly set the tone. Jason Myers wouldn't have those chances, and they were short chances. We're not talking 50-plus yard field goals. They were in the 30s. I think 41 was his deepest one of the night. But Kenneth Walker truly setting the tone against a defense that completely shut down the run this season. They were the 3rd best defense in yards allowed, remember, during the regular season. So when you talk about Kenneth Walker truly setting the tone, 10-yard run to start off, and then he was just bulldozing guys, finding gaps. And look at that 4th quarter run at the end. I mean, that was the longest wait I think I've ever seen a running back have at that line of scrimmage. And honestly, Dex, if it wasn't for that holding call, what a cap to the night if he took that to the house and won it. So, yeah, I'll cheers to 25-year-old Kenneth Walker, who has a lot of football ahead of him.
Yeah, a lot of football heaven. He ran the ball extremely well. You're right. I was kind of rooting for the kickers. We know the kickers don't get love all the time. Wanted to see the kicker possibly get Super MVP, but we have to wait. Again, that has never happened in Super Bowl history. Last thing for me here, Scott, I'm not truly sure how many people, maybe it was you, maybe it was somebody else before the start of this season, picked the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold as their QB. So with all the talent on the defensive side of the ball in Seattle, do you look at the Seahawks as a team that's primed to win multiple titles with this group? Do you think that's possible?
I think when you look at Sam Darnold, and we have to do that first, Dex, what a redemption story. We heard it a lot tonight. Fifth NFL team. We know, obviously, you're here at the New York Post. He starts with the New York Jets. It doesn't turn out the way that they wanted to. But you want to talk about a guy who just battled adversity, went from the Jets to the Panthers, then to the 49ers, where he finds his groove again, and then Minnesota last year. And I got to talk to him before the start of this season, and I asked him, why did he choose the Seahawks? And he said, Clint Kubiak, for instance, they know the offense together when they were in San Francisco. But at the same time, he's like, it just felt right with these guys. And he mentioned that talent on the defensive side of the football. Such a young team, 25 years old, just over 25 years old, is that average age on defense. Those are the type of guys that you want to be around. They fly all over the field. Look at Rookie of the Year candidate Nick Eamon-Worry. You look at all of the rest of these guys. I mean, Leonard Williams is the vet in the room. Julian Love is the vet in the room when we shout out our New York Jets and New York Giants former players. And how do you not love this team moving forward? They're young. They have the right pieces on offense. JSN is your reigning Offensive Player of the Year, although he battled some injuries tonight. And we'll see what they eventually do with Cooper Kupp, but I believe he's back next season. This is a team, I think, that is primed with a head coach who is young, who they love to play for. And just like Mike Vrabel on the other side, how can you not want to run through a wall for Mike McDonald? What a guy tonight as he looks up at those fireworks and sees all that hard work, because he called it out. He said, we don't care what anyone says about us. We know what we're about, and now they're Super Bowl champions.
They are Super Bowl champions. That is the Seattle Seahawks. The future looks bright. A lot of talent on that defensive side of the ball. Like you said, very young on that side of the ball, so they could compete for many more years. And maybe the confidence of Sam Darnold. This man was once seeing ghosts with the New York Jets. Who knew? I didn't see it coming. I'll be honest, I didn't see it coming.
It's a great feel-good story, and I think it's just the testament to adversity. You truly never know, especially in this league.
Absolutely. Definitely got to agree with that, and we'll see what the Seahawks are able to do going forward. But they win Super Bowl 60, 29-13 over the New England Patriots. They are Super Bowl champions. That is Scott Thompson. Check him out, sports writer with Fox News, doing a great job there. Scott, always a pleasure to talk some sports with you. I appreciate you joining me, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Dex.